So the last video I shared was a reading for myself, which was a bit of a wake-up call. Particularly the combination of the Nine of Swords and the Devil was a real indication that perhaps my mental health wasn't quite where I'd like it to be, and that I needed to do some very deep self-reflective spiritual work. So after doing the reading, I went off into the woods and I did some shamanic work. I did some emotional releasing and really tried to be very, very honest with myself. And then I came back and I did another reading to reflect where I was now. And this is what I got. So firstly, the Three of Wands jumped out when I was shuffling. I mean, such an optimistic card, such a card of, you know, bright horizons, of hard work. I imagine that this guy has climbed to the top of that mountain and he's looking out. These are ships on the sea. I like to think he's the merchant. I like to think that he's confident in his ships sailing out or coming back because he knows they're well built. He knows they've got good sailors. He knows they've got good maps. This is a card of feeling assured of the work you've done. So I was very happy to have that pop out. And then bearing in mind we had the Nine of Swords, which is I think the darkest sword card. It's about getting locked, trapped in negative thoughts. Now we have the Ace of Swords. This is clarity. This is honesty. That sword, it's thrust through the crown. The crown represents the material world. Have a look at the tower. That's got the crown on top of it as well. It's got the laurel branch to one side for victory. It's got the olive branch to the other for peace. This is about seeing things clearly, cutting through the delusions, the illusions, everything like that. So I was really happy with that. The King of Swords. I mean, sword slightly to one side, two birds, very different to the Queen of Swords. This is being honest, but it's also being compassionate. And I think for me, I am definitely trying to be more compassionate to myself, actually, more than anything else. But again, compared to the Nine of Swords, it really showed that I managed to get a true look at my mental health and see some key truths about myself. And the Knight of Wands. Well, I'm a very wandsy kind of a person. I like to go at things gung-ho, if you like. I always think with this card, I don't know whether anyone's into Doctor Who, but it really makes me think of the Matt Smith, David Tennant Doctor Who, just jumping in and trusting things will work out. When you're in a Nine of Swords stroke Devil sort of a mindset, trust is what's gone. Okay, you're overthinking, you're feeling trapped, the trust is gone. No card is perfect. These two together is a rather nice combination. It's suggesting with the Knight of Wands that I've got my trust back, and with the King of Swords that I'm looking at myself with a more compassionate and honest point of view, rather than that Devil and the Nine of Swords. And I mean, this is, I would say with client work, this sort of reading is one of the most helpful readings you can do. I can do a snapshot of a client the minute they walk in, get a feel for their mental health, their emotional health, how they're seeing their world. I can see how trapped they feel. And then we unwind those problems through the reading, which is often an hour with me. And then at the end of the reading, we do another snapshot. And it can be fascinating, particularly for clients that are actually looking at the cards, whether that's by Skype or, you know, Facebook Messenger. They can see that those early difficult dark cards that were reflecting their mindset have now changed. That's what I love about tarot, is that the cards say it all. The images, even if you're not used to tarot, comparing the Nine of Swords to the King of Swords, the difference is obvious. Card at the bottom of the pack, I'm going to have to do a whole video on this one. She's cropping up all the time now. She's definitely my stalker card. She's my key card at the moment. And the High Priestess. In my Norse tradition, she would definitely be Hel. In this deck, you can see the pomegranates at the back here, linking her to Persephone, goddess of the underworld. And of course, Hel is the Norse goddess of the underworld. And yeah, it's an indication that my spiritual path has deepened, and I'm quite looking forward to that.